Hello, video store enthusiast. Mr. VHS is with a special announcement before our regularly scheduled program. And that announcement is, fuck Warner Brothers. Fuck them up their stupid little asses for being copyright bitches. They have put a claim on today's episode. And I'm going to give you a little behind the scenes stuff here. I know what fair use is. You cannot just upload a movie. That would be illegal. But if you grab a movie for review purposes and you just show clips and then you have dialogue on top of it and the rest of the film you edit it and speed it up so it works as one continuous video and yet it's not showing you the movie, that is legal. Apparently, Warner Brothers does not know this definition, and they have one of the hardest algorithms that actually just straight up blocks anything that looks like copyright infringement, even if it's not. So Google doesn't fight this, and they just accept it, which means that the complete version of this episode is not only a copyright claim, which I wouldn't mind because I don't get paid for views, it's just straight up blocked. You cannot play it anywhere. We had to come to the decision that we're going to do an edited version. This is the censored version. It has no footage from the film, nothing, just the conversation previous and after the experience. If that's all you are interested, well, here it is for you. The reason I post this, the censored version, which I actually didn't want to do, is because we do have more subscribers than people in the group. So if I just post a private link on the group, not everybody's going to get it. So instead, I'm giving you this version, and I'm posting the unedited version in the description. You can go down there, click on the Vimeo link, because Vimeo is not a bitch, and they allow the complete video, which I do fucking recommend because it's hilarious. It's what the concept of the show originally was decided to be, and I don't know, it's just overall a better time. So once again, you can keep watching this video, and I'm glad for the attention. Definitely not as good as the complete version. If you wanna actually, support us in completely, go to the link on the description, watch the full version, and then give us some feedback. Once again, fuck Warner Brothers for being little bitches. Thanks, everybody. We're back.
Yes.
Hello, Mike. How you doing?
I'm doing good. How about you?
I'm doing fine. A lot of homework with my kid. A lot of preschool shit that apparently I'm not qualified to do. Kind of feel stupid, but other than that, fun. We're back for our It Came From the Video Store show. We're still in October, guys.
Yeah.
So we're still doing horror movies. How do you feel about that, Mike? Do you like horror?
Oh, yeah. I love horror. This is a perfect month for me to do this.
Eventually, we will do something else. But for now, let's keep it scary. So, for today's episode, we did not bring Cameron Holtzman back.
No.
This time, we got a celebrity. Mr. Jeff Goldblum.
Yes. Thank you for having me. Life finds video store.
That's fucking clever. So, how you feeling about how's your week been?
It's been pretty good. Been able to watch a lot of movies, so that's been fun. Finally watched The Fly and Blue Velvet, and apparently I gave it too low of ratings.
You did. To
Yes,
both,
you did.
but that's it's your prerogative, I guess. Fucking perfect films, and the guys giving them like 4 out of 5. What is this shit?
What rating did Mike Hanley give The Apartment? There we go.
I honestly, I have only watched 3 Wilder movies, and that is my second one because I like Witness for the Prosecution a lot.
Witness is so good. I don't blame you for that.
Fair. Sunset Boulevard is my third.
I agree. Out of those three, I'd probably go Apartment, Witness, Sunset.
Cool. But we're not going to talk Wilder today. Today,
We're not?
we're going to watch Creepshow. So, Creepshow. How did this movie came into your life, Mike? Why did you choose it for today's show?
I saw this when probably, when I was like 4, maybe 5. My parents had shown me, started showing me some 80s horror, and this was one of them that popped up. See,
Your parents showed you horror when you were 5 years old.
Yeah. See, I was never sheltered from watching pretty much anything, unless it had a lot of sex and stuff on that. That was the only thing that basically stopped this movie, though. They showed me it was a lot and at this point I had seen a couple, so I had already grown to not truly be afraid of this type of stuff. And I think this was a perfect movie where it wasn't completely horror, where it's horror comedy. So I thought for Boatman, this might be a fun movie to go for.
King, George Romero. Let's be honest here. Mike's parents are like, George Romero's Creepshow, 4 years old. Fuck it. Yeah.
Mike, I have an actual question for you.
Yeah.
Were you part of a cult?
Maybe.
He might still be in it. Actually, I don't even know why I'm making fun of the guy. I watched this movie when I was 10 years old, which is not that much better. When I was a kid, cable was kind of like the Wild West. There were not really cable channels designed for Latin America like they are now. We have MTV Latino and HBO Latino and everything Latino. Actually, HBO was kind of insulting because the channel was originally called HBO Ole. So HBO Ole was our version of HBO, which is stupid. Anyway, before all that, we used to have just basically channels that the networks took from the satellites and basically stole from the United States. And then that was our cable. We paid for that shit, and they just put up the channels that they took from the satellites. And there was this weird channel called Super Channel. And Super Channel just showed movies all day long. But weird ass random movies that I guess people wouldn't really fight for. And I used to wait till everybody was asleep. I pretended to be asleep at 9 o'clock every night. So they turn off the light and they turn everything on. And then I just turn on my TV real quiet, put the chair right up to it so that the volume could be low, and watch the weird stuff that come up on Super Channel. I watch Porky's. I watch Porky's the next day. I watch Porky's Revenge. So about Porky's. But one of the days that I was watching this, Creepshow came up. And I was like, that sounds fun. I think by this time I might have already been watching Tales from the Crypt. But I stuck with it. And I actually really enjoyed it. Haven't seen it again for 30 years. So a lot of things may surprise me now. We'll see what happens. You heard something about this movie, man?
I vaguely know stuff about it. I know, obviously, it's George Romero and Stephen King. And I know it's an anthology. And it's kind of like a mix of goofy, fun, scary stories and actually terrifying stuff. So I'm kind of excited.
Do you know what EC Comics was?
No.
Yikes. Okay. In the 40s and 50s, there was a comic brand called EC Comics, and they made horror comics. They had 3 main hosts that introduced the comics. At the beginning, they were in the cover, and because the things were called the Vault of Terror, I think, and Tales from the Crypt, and the other one I forgot.
Yeah, I can't think of the other one.
Okay. Wait, I think it was Tales from the Crypt, The Vault of Horror, and something with terror. But whatever. The thing is that they had three main hosts. The hosts were the Cryptkeeper, which I assume you know.
Yeah, that's Tales from the Crypt. He's the guy who made all the bad puns, right?
Yeah.
Exactly. The other one was the Witch, and the other one was the Creep. So the Creep is the host for the Creepshow.
Oh. Okay.
So yeah, I don't know if you might expect some puns or whatever, but that's where we're going today. Anthology horror. It's actually
So what
pretty
you're
good.
saying is, I can ask this for 4-pointers in comic book movies.
Yes, you can.
Yes, you can. Yes.
Nick Twig, eat your heart out.
Good shit. Anyway, yes, it is anthology. It is horror. It's from the 80s. And do you know who directed these movies?
George A. Romero.
Hell yeah. The master himself stopped doing zombie flicks for a bit and came to do some creepy shit. Good stuff. So, no further ado, I'm going to put the thing here.
Yep.
And Mike, whenever you're ready, sir.
Let's do it.
So, Creepshow. It only took us 4 hours.
That was the longest 2-hour movie I've ever watched.
Yeah, well, okay. So, I guess that was Creepshow. First things first, Bo. Do you think people will notice that we had to switch the source of the movie midway through it?
Yes, I will, assuming they watch the whole thing.
Fair. So, what are your general impressions of this 1982 horror classic masterpiece?
Okay, general impressions. It's clearly just trying to be like a fun, pulpy, scary time, and that's exactly what it is. Like, this movie is exactly what it's trying to be, which is just a fun, like, just it's trying. I haven't read the comics, or I wasn't familiar with the comics, but it feels like the pulpy type of horror thing that you would find from like the 40s and 50s.
I want to do a small clarification. Actually, I looked it up. EC Comics did make a bunch of comics, mostly sci-fi and horror. And this is basically like a hodgepodge of the covers that they had, right? As you can see, there's Tales from the Crypt, there's The Haunt of Fear, and the other one is The Vault of Horror. However, I made a mistake. The Crypt and the Creepshow is actually not directly an adaptation of EC Comics. Actually, it's inspired by EC Comics.
Oh, fair.
See, because if you go, let me open here another thing. If you go with one of the basic books, like for example, The Vault of Horror, you can see that it has the Vault Keeper, the Old Witch, and the Cryptkeeper. See? So those three are the actual EC Comic hunts. Creepshow is kind of like, we want to honor this thing. We want to make like a comic horror, but for the 1980s. And we're going to make our own narrator and call him the Crypt. So, I don't know if you can ask Tuig about it. But still fucking great.
I probably can't now. Because it's not technically a comic book movie, but it can show up in horror. So that's
Yeah.
and also Kirk uses George A. Romero all the time. So
That's a good one, yeah.
So what
Right.
surprised you?
okay, I didn't expect as much visual flair in this movie. Like, there's a lot of just like fun, colorful styles. Like, when I think of like an 80s horror movie, I think of like I've never seen it, but my mind goes to like the clips I've seen from Friday the 13th. Dark shadows, it's very much dark, trying to be scary, kept in the shadows, not a lot of bright colors. This was like very bright colors, big kind of elaborate sets. Like it felt like very colorful and flashy, like a comic book, and I like that. I like it when a movie that's supposed to be it's supposed to be fun, but then everything is like clouded in darkness and grayness, and it's just like like this movie has the like very fun comic-y 1940s 50s look, and I think that really works for it.
That's my favorite part of this.
I think the word he was looking for was cheap. He expected the movie to look cheap.
See, that's not really what I was looking for, because like there are plenty of movies that don't look cheap, but they just look dark. Like Zack Snyder movies. I wouldn't call any of those cheap looking, but they're all like clouded in shadow, and it's not like a fun time. Like this, it was bright and colorful, which I did not expect, because a lot of 80s horror movies, even
80s are known for a certain type of style, and this one strays away from that style.
Yeah, and I love this style. Like, I think the style was probably just in general, my favorite takeaway from this movie.
I'm going to ask this. It was an anthology film, so it was segmented. What was your favorite segment?
I kind of was thinking about this. It's tough because there are really three that I could go back and forth between, but if I had to pick one, I would probably say Something to Tide You Over. Because seeing Leslie Nielsen being genuinely terrifying is great. And it's kind of like, it has the comedic elements, but it's also just like genuinely terrifying with the way. Like, I think that one was probably the best blend of the comedy and horror.
I completely agree. If you would ask me, now that I rewatched the movie for the first time in forever, I would also pick that segment. I think it also has to do with the fear of actually being, immobilized and get a slow death that you cannot really help out.
Yeah.
Like, you don't really know what to do. It's kind of fucking terrifying in real life. Even though the wet zombies were kind of goofy, still though, great.
I mean, at the end of the day, I think the terror comes from putting yourself in Ted Danson's shoes.
Yeah.
It doesn't really that you get the terror from Ted Danson's perspective, and then you get the Schadenfreude revenge once Ted Danson has died. Like, your terror comes from you want Ted Danson to live. Then you get the fun revenge of Leslie Nielsen has to die now.
Mike, which one is your favorite?
Oh, my favorite has always been the lonesome death of Jody Verrill. Stephen King is a national fucking treasure, and he's fucking amazing in that segment. It is so fucking funny. His expressions are great. Yes. Oscar for Stephen King. Give it to him.
Please do. Next question.
What do you consider the filler segment out of all the segments?
It might have been just because it took 3 hours for us to watch this segment. But for me, like, even take that away, The Crate was kind of just the okay one. That's the one that I had, like, the least, like, oh, this is really fun, or really, it's just kind of, oh, there's a monster in a crate. There we go. Like, that's the one that didn't really have any fun twist for me. Like, everything else, like, even though Father's Day was, like, very predictable, you had Ed Harris in there. Great. And Where's My Birthday Cake?
Just that by itself.
Like, that brings up that segment significantly.
See, I want to disagree with Mike's take here. I actually I dug The Crate. And I dug the fact that they never explained why they had a giant flashlight. And I also really dug the fact that I, honest to God, believe that was a midget monster. I mean, this is a small crate. And even the one shot, when it's eating the Charlie kid, and it comes out of the crate, it's like yay big. And the thing is like yay big, and still it's 3 fucking people. I kind of dug that, and I really found Billy annoying. So when he ate her, I was like, "Yep, that was the part I was waiting for." I liked it. So I'm gonna disagree because I think the one I feel is more filler is the Lonesome Death of Jordy Verrill.
Whoa!
Oh,
Whoa!
It's very funny, but it's not. It doesn't have the other balance. I think it's the opposite problem to what you had, because the crate didn't have any jokes. This was all jokes, and even though I still believe, please, an Oscar for Stephen King. Still, I don't know. I mean, plants, alien plants. Sure. What do you think, Bo, is the most badass character in the movie?
Okay, badass. I don't know if I would. My favorite character is Mr. Pratt because he was just such a dick and it's so much fun. But I don't know if I would call him a badass. You know, I'll call him a badass. He literally said, "Oh, I can't fire him to a woman's lost her husband." So I'll give it to him.
what do you consider the dead meat character? Basically,
Okay.
the opposite of badass.
All right, just Disco Ed Harris. I don't remember the character name, but Disco Ed Harris I relate to him because even in my own life, I am not the badass character. I'm the dead meat character.
Fair.
So Ed Harris.
Fair.
Again, I dig it, but it's kind of. I think this one should go to the janitor.
Yeah.
The poor janitor did not do anything except find a crate that was under a staircase for 160 years and open it.
Yeah, he fucked it up. We found it, but he fucking opened it.
Do you have a dead meat character, Mike?
I would actually agree with you. I would say the janitor. Like, Ed Harris is up there, but I would say the janitor.
At least he got to dance. Overall, what do you consider both to be the best kill of the movie?
Ooh. Okay, well, I think just based on the fact it's the kill that got me like the most uncomfortable, I think I have to go. The cockroach is literally coming out.
Oh, I saw your reaction. That was fucking priceless.
I
That would make
hated
it.
watching it, but it's also like an incredibly creative kill. So I gotta give it that. But second place goes to the wave torture. I think that's great.
I think the wave torture works better on real life, because after the third or fourth shot of the girl trying to scream while she gets some water in her face, it starts to get a little funny.
Yeah, fair.
So it's weird. I agree. Forget you fill with bugs and then the bugs come out of you. That's a solid ass kill. Mike, which is your kill?
I would have to say the last. Do you know what? I would have to go with cockroach kill. Looking at all of them, it is just so fucked. And especially if you have a phobia of bugs, that's just the ultimate fuck you right there.
I almost got into a car crash yesterday because there was a spider in my car. That's not a joke.
Weird. Okay. Next one.
What do you think is the lamest kill?
Oh, this is a good question, actually. Oh, that's hard because, like, even like the crate, which I would say is my least favorite. You know, no, I'll say Jordy Verrill pussying out and shooting myself. That's the lamest kill. He doesn't know what he can do as a plant man. He can still live. He could be king of the plants. Pussy?
I would actually say that the lamest kill for me is Ed Harris.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He was laying in a hole.
He can get up.
He saw the thing moving the stone, and he was like, and then he looked over there and he started to fucking skeleton wanting his fucking cake. And he's like, he doesn't even get scared. He's like, uh-huh. And then he looks up and the fucking tombstone is still falling. He's like, oh yeah, I'm gonna fucking die.
True.
And he does not do shit. I think Mike agrees with me.
Yeah, 100%. He can get up at any point. Fuck it. I'm gonna go.
So, I know the Creep is not really like I said, an ECW original, but I still gotta ask, my man, the Creep or the Cryptkeeper? Who do you prefer?
Okay, the Creep is not in this movie enough for me to really have an opinion on him. And the Cryptkeeper, I never actually watched Tales from the Crypt. I am barely familiar with, like, I know he made bad puns, but that's literally all I know about this guy. So based on that, I will take bad puns over barely being in the movie. So I'll take bad puns.
I do like the effect of the Crypt, though.
Yeah,
the Cryptkeeper. Yeah, the Cryptkeeper is a fucking classic. I mean,
yeah.
We might need to do a bonus short episode of just showing you clips of the Cryptkeeper.
Okay.
Eventually.
Who would you recommend this movie to?
Okay, I think to start this out, I should say who I would definitely not recommend this movie to. Cameron Holtzman.
No.
Cameron Holtzman.
Yeah.
This is not a Cameron Holtzman movie. I think people who I think this movie would... I mean, I think if you line up with the Mike Hanley taste, you probably will enjoy this movie so much. Like, this is a movie that is built... Okay, here's how you know if you will... I can guarantee if you check yes to any of these questions, you will enjoy Creepshow. And you may enjoy Creepshow if you don't say yes to any of these questions. But if you say yes to any of these questions, you will definitely enjoy Creepshow. Question number 1. Are you a member of Criterion Collection? End of questions.
It's true.
That is probably fair, except David, though. I don't think David likes
I mean,
it.
probably not David, but is David really a member of Criterion Collection?
Yes. Okay.
Boom, go.
Final thing. We're gonna get ready. I wanna explain, because people tend to think about stars and shit. This is not stars. This is VHS tapes, and we only do 1 to 4. Well, half to 4. So, Mr. Boatman, how many VHS tapes would you give Creepshow?
First, start off. It gets 1 VHS tape for Jordy Verrill.
Yeah.
It gets 1 VHS tape for creepy Leslie Nielsen.
Yeah.
It gets 1 VHS tape for Disco Ed Harris. And it gets half a VHS tape for Badass E.G. Marshall. So that's 3.5 VHS tapes out of 4.
Boom.
I like it.
Mike Hanley, what do you give this film?
Oh, it's a great fucking movie. 4 VHS tapes. Count them. 4.
Boom. Me? 3.5.
Okay.
I think, contrary to last week, which we actually had very different opinions, we can say that this was a success.
Yes.
So, thanks everybody for coming back to the what's the name of the show? It Came From the Video Store. Yeah. Thanks for coming to It Came From the Video Store. Thanks to Boatman for putting up with it, because, technical issues were fucking rough.
Yeah.
But we still made it. So, remember, kids, true fear comes from within.
And buy our shit.
Oh, yeah. Buy our shit. I should have that banner somewhere. There it is. Thanks, Mike Halliday. Thanks to Caleb Boatman. Thanks, everybody who actually watches this shit.
If we were Ed Harris, we'd be dying right now.
We will come back with more horror before October's done.